What's a good word, buddies? It's Concert Buddy. Today's video, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to share some information I've learned, trial and error, beta testing, whatever you want to call it, over the years, in putting together my record collection. Things that I kind of frankly wish I would have known starting out and not fallen into some of the traps that are out there. But cue that lever and we'll get into it right after the break. Welcome back. So maybe you're new to vinyl, maybe you kind of dip your toes in the vinyl bathwaters of Lake Minnetonka here and there, or maybe you just have a record collection that isn't a high priority in your life. Whatever the reasons may be, I felt that it'd be a good opportunity to share just a couple things that I've learned when I started collecting vinyl to now a decade in of taking it quasi-seriously, if you will, in hopes that maybe you guys won't fall prey to some of the traps that I fell in. So first things first, collecting records, listening to music, the number one thing is it should be fun. You gotta have fun. What I mean by that is it should be a fun experience going to the record store. It should be a fun experience talking music with people. It should be a fun experience getting down on your hands and knees in those dollar bins, flipping through cheapies. If it's not, maybe this isn't for you, or maybe you're not as hardcore as a YouTuber like me, right?
Is into having fun.
Have fun.
I enjoy having fun, yes.
Looking for somebody who likes to have a lot of fun.
I'm looking for someone to have fun with.
Love to have a good time. Able to have fun.
Fun and laughter.
And anything that's fun, I like to have fun.
And have a lot of fun.
So, number one, most important, have fun. This is supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be a release. It's supposed to be recreational. It's supposed to be all those things. It's supposed to be a positive experience. And as someone who has recently gotten my first troll on this channel, got him! I can tell you that that situation caused me to really reflect inward of, is this really a fun experience for me? And I'm not going to let one troll ruin my experience, not just with this channel, but in record collecting as a whole. So if everybody's happy with you, you're probably doing something wrong. The second thing I would say is take your time. A big issue right now that I've noticed in the last probably 5+ years is FOMO, fear of missing out. And it's a real situation, partly brought on by supply chain challenges, particularly in the last couple of years, the COVID and so forth. So that's a real thing, because take, for example, the Smashing Pumpkins Melancholy box set that has recently been reissued. It's been issued, I think, 2012, 2016, and now 2022. How, where, why, nobody seems to know. But it's a feeding frenzy. And I've seen this thing go from 80 to, I saw a store in my town selling it for 120. You go online, it's even crazier, right? So here's the good news. They're going to keep repressing that record. Always. It's never going to be out of print permanently. Now, there may be issues. They may remaster it. They may make changes to it. There may be new additions to it. But if you don't get it now, it's completely okay. You'll be able to track down a copy. Don't fall for the flippers. Don't fall for the traps of going on eBay. eBay is a trap. Akbar was right. It's a trap.
It's a trap!
eBay is a trap. Take your time. It will eventually come around. Same goes for any records that you saw at a store one day, didn't pull the trigger, went back and it was gone, right? I learned this from American Pickers that when you see something out in the wild, if you've never seen it before and it piques your interest, that's generally the time to strike. Now, that's not FOMO. That's more of, as you get your wings behind you, you get your feet wet and understand and get used to seeing a lot of records very commonly out in the wild, you'll know when you can push-pull in terms of when you should strike and when you shouldn't. So I will say the Mike Wolf theory of, if you've never seen it before, that's the time to act. I've tried to be very virtuous when it comes to that and tried to, even if I went to the store and was only thinking of spending X amount of dollars and I saw something that I'd never seen before and I knew it was rare when I did my little side of the store research on Discogs or what have you, the time to strike is then. But FOMO, don't fall for it. It's a marketing gimmick by and large. You're going to hear things in this hobby, and it's not just limited to record collecting and vinyl. Limited edition, limited time only, collectible. The big one is you'll see on hype stickers, which is the sticker on front of a new record, right? Audiophile quality. Audiophile is also a gimmick, only in the sense of there are audiophile recordings. Audiophile is generally a term meant to mean high quality listening, like you have a great or expensive setup and you really take value in having the best sounding situation, equipment, materials, etc. But you got to look for something a little bit deeper under audiophile. Look for things like mastered from the original tapes, AAA, AAA.
And that ignorance caused them to suffer and make them look stupid.
Those are the true tell signs that recording was mastered top notch from the tapes, AAA. Another thing to look for is also who actually mastered it. I've talked about a few of these gentlemen on my channel before, like Bernie Grunman, Kevin Gray, Ryan Smith, Chris Bellman. There's about 4 or 5 really well-known engineers, sound engineers, that you can take it to the bank. If they've had their hands on a recording, it's going to sound pretty good. So don't fall for the FOMO, audiophile, these marketing gimmicks, limited edition. You know, you'll find as you immerse yourself further in the hobby, like Record Store Day or these color variants and so forth. Color variants, that's in the eye of the beholder, right? That's truly a subjective thing. If you want a copy of a record that comes in a different color, by all means, that's truly a personal choice. But I found that even when things say limited edition, 2,000 records, and then you'll get a copy that's number 2,187, right? Like, surprise, in manufacturing, and I've learned this through my professional career, generally they make more than they say because there's going to be fallout, there's going to be quality control issues just by the regular process of manufacturing. Not all 2,000 will be made perfectly, sound perfectly, have no issues, etc. So they have to make extras. So whenever you hear limited edition, be very wary because that's generally just a marketing ploy to try to get you to, if you're on the fence, should I or shouldn't I, limited edition, oh great, it's a collectible, it'll be worth money, etc.
Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids.
Now the third thing outside of those marketing gimmicks is if you're getting into this hobby as a means to make money, I would really kind of challenge that, only in the sense of can your record collection appreciate in time? Probably so, depending on what you collect. But that doesn't mean if you go to the Goodwill and buy their full stack of records of Lawrence Welk, Beethoven, Olivia Newton-John, the Goodwill All-Stars I call them, Barbra Streisand, those records are not collectible. There's a reason that they're still at the Goodwill. There's a reason that other hunters haven't found them, right? So don't automatically get into record collecting thinking that this is some sort of investment.
And ka-ching, we're making money, 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 money.
Now, it can be something that will appreciate over time, but I would really challenge the idea that you're getting into it as a means to make a quick buck, make a profit, etc. I'll say that because obviously with COVID, I call it the COVID tax, right? A lot of records just skyrocketed in value because a lot of people were learning about Discogs, falling for eBay traps, learning about the online record community, the vinyl community as a whole, how, when, where to buy records. With that came a lot of appreciation on the front end for new records and people taking advantage of new people to the hobby, but also kind of came this, I wouldn't say misnomer, I would say a false positive that, oh yeah, records are a new speculation hobby, like baseball cards or, I don't know, collectible toys. I mean, there's a lot of different genres that people collect things and can make money on it, and that's great. Sneakers, like I think sneakerheads, right? But by and large, if you're getting into this hobby to make it an investment opportunity, I can't 100% say that that's exactly what's going to happen. There's no promises, there's no guarantees, like anything else. But I would hope that you'd be coming at it, one, because you're having fun, like I said, and two, you really, really genuinely enjoy music, care about music, and the whole music listening experience, be it going to concerts, talking music with your friends, listening in the car, whatever your vice of music consumption may be, right? So don't get into it for simply trying to make money. And the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video is kind of a misconception that you have to have an expensive turntable to even make this vinyl collecting journey worthwhile. It's not exactly true. Are some turntables better than others? Yes. Are some turntables hunks of shit? 100%. There are companies out there that unfortunately are like anything else, consumer companies that make blenders and microwaves. What's making another turntable going to be? It's just a widget to them. But you'll hear names like Crosley and those kind of companies come up. There's nothing inherently bad about a Crosley, but you get what you pay for. And if your turntable is made of 90% plastic, probably not the best quality. If your tone arm is very flimsy and very light and made, it's kind of like a straw, let's kind of go there, it's probably not going to be the best. So if you buy an expensive record and throw it on a cheap turntable, you can't really be surprised if it's going to not be the best for your record, not sound the best for your experience. I mean, they have a lot of all-in-one systems, or it's a turntable on top of speakers. There's a CD player, and there's so many companies that have really jumped on the bandwagon of the hobby, but by and large, it's not an exact science. Now, there are some turntables, if you've done any research, that are thousands and thousands of dollars, and there's a lot behind that technology. It's quality, right? You really are getting what you pay for. If you're getting a nice plinth, if you're getting a weight control in the back, like those are the things that you'll find if you invest in your setup. I heard this expression a long time ago: if you take care of your stuff, they'll take care of you. And that's very true. If you're going to get a very expensive turntable and then you're very rough with it, or you don't wipe your records down, or you don't really do all the things, the ancillary things you should be doing, it's it's not going to make the experience any better, right? So before I say Crosleys are bad, I'm going to show a video of breaking Crosleys. I know a lot of folks in the VC have done those kind of things for clicks, and that's fine. No consternation here. I will say though that if you go to Bed Bath & Beyond for a turntable, for example, I hope you don't expect to have like this great listening experience. It's just not going to happen. If you go to Best Buy and get a turntable, probably not going to be terrible. If you go wherever you go, if you buy something on Amazon, just do your research, right? And that's a great segue into the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video is do your research. Become a student of the hobby of collecting of vinyl records. Understand the science. It's taken me a long time to really understand the difference of the audiophile thing like I talked about before. It really doesn't matter if it says audiophile, and it doesn't matter if it says 180 gram vinyl. What matters is how it was engineered, where it was sourced from. Those are the things that really matter. And I would highly encourage you to, as you're starting this journey, or as you're really trying to make a real concerted effort to beef up your collection, or really do quality over quantity, a lot of these things I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, do your research. Become a student. If you really enjoy the hobby like I do and a lot of other folks do, learn. Ask questions. Go on the message boards. Tread carefully, though. Sometimes there's a lot of vitriol on those things, like the Reddit board, the Hoffman forums, those type of things. But I would highly encourage you to learn as much as you can. Be a sponge, absorb. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you've watched this video or you watch other videos of new to vinyl. Here's what you should know. There's a lot of videos out there like that. I'm just adding on to the pile, right? But become a student. Learn. Ask those questions. Don't take one source as an authority. Go to your record store. Ask the people who work there questions. Like I'm telling you, like the more you learn, the more faceted, the more you'll have in your toolkit as you're shopping, as you're learning, as you're, something as innocuous as how do you tell if something's a first pressing, right? Well, if you didn't know, the easiest way is pull the record out, look in the inner ring by the label on the actual vinyl and the dead wax, and then look that number up in Discogs, right? That's probably your best source of truth. If you're out in a store and let's say it's a David Bowie 70s Aladdin Sane, or I don't know, Ziggy Stardust, take a record like that was made in the 70s. If that record has a barcode on it, that'll tell you that record was probably a reissue, and it probably came in the 80s because barcodes did not start showing up on records until the early 80s. It might have been like late 79-ish.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
I don't know that right off the top of my head, but I do know that when in doubt and you see that record and it looks weathered and it looks like it's vintage and oh, it's great, and you turn it over and it's got that barcode on it, that is a telltale sign that it's probably a reissue if it's an older record. If it's a newer record, all records now have barcodes. So highly encourage you to use that Discogs app if you have it on your phone and scan that barcode. That will help cut down some of the malaise. That'll help you kind of figure out exactly what pressing you're looking for. So I'm sure I can make this video super duper long.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But I'm just going to start there. Tell me what you think. What are some of the most important things you've learned over the years or over the months, however long you've been collecting, that you think more people should know, that more people who are getting into this hobby, who are really starting to really get into vinyl, what are those pieces, those nuggets of information that you think they'd really benefit from learning? That's all I got, guys. Until next time, when you get the chance, just spin it. I'll see you next time.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.